Hello, it's another episode of CRM Success Secrets. My name is Mary Sue Dayhill, and I am the host. I'm also the founder of Work Smarter Digital, a all-in-one CRM solution. And this week, we are here to talk with Debbie Myers of VirtuArte. She is a customer retention expert, and she's going to share some of the things that she's doing with her CRM to teach business owners how to retain their customers and build this lifelong relationship with your customers. So Debbie, thank you for joining.
Well, thank you, Mary Sue, for having me.
So recently, I guess it was at the beginning of the year, or maybe at the end of last year, you had said that you wanted to do a masterclass.
Yep.
So what was it that, why did you want to do a masterclass?
Well, I was trying to figure out ways that I could have a wider reach and to be more visible. And so I decided that it was time for me to step into more of a thought leadership role, and that a masterclass would be the beginning to help me do that. So why did I decide to do it this year versus sooner? I'm a person who talks a lot, and I talked about doing a masterclass for probably a year. And what stopped me was the whole idea of having to develop content. How was I going to promote it? How was I going to, get registrations? And then, of course, doing the masterclass itself. But really what held me back was thinking about all of the content and promotional aspects of it. And so finally in December, and I think I told you this in December,
Yep.
I said, okay, in January, I'm going to do a masterclass. Put it out there so people would ask me about it, because once you put it out there, you can't not do it.
You can't undo it. I know. I mean, it's a great motivation.
Exactly. But here we go. But I didn't get the content ready in time. And so I had to move it to mid-February. So that was what was holding me back. That's why, excuse me. That's why I always put it off. But this time I was determined that I was going to do it.
Yes. Well, the content is where everyone gets stuck as well. I mean, everyone. And when you are launching a masterclass, I think, or you're thinking all you really need to focus on is the presentation, that you're going to be doing. But then when you think back, and this is what we talked about on the content to reach that point, is you need a sales page that talks about what it is the masterclass is about, a registration process. You need promotional emails to communicate to your mailing list that people, you're running this masterclass to get them to register. And then after someone registers, you need what I call like an attendee nurture sequence. They need to be welcomed and then reminded of the masterclass.
Right. Well, and with your help, I also had a download so that, people who registered would have a worksheet basically to use during the masterclass itself. So all of that you're talking about is very overwhelming when you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
But with your help, and I don't know if you still have the package, but you had a package that with a content writer that really helped me to develop the promo emails. And then you and I worked on the nurturing, after the registration, the nurturing emails. But without that, it would have taken me forever on my own to do it.
Yes. Well, yes, we did work with a copywriter, and she started with the sales page because it really gives all of the, why somebody needs it, what pain points is it solving, what are the outcomes desired from that sales page, and then
Mhm.
all of the emails kind of pulled from that main content.
Mhm. No, it was an investment, well worth it. And now, because I've run this masterclass a second time, we, took that, added a couple more emails. So, the first time I ran it, we did 3 promo emails, and then I, pushed it out. So now the second time we did 5, promo emails, and, it so we used a lot of the content that had been written before. We made, of course, made adjustments to it to reflect changes in the dates
Yeah.
and other things like that. But now I have that content, so there I can use it, again when I want to run that particular masterclass. And I can just make the minor adjustments to it, and then it can run.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really great with the CRM is that everything's loaded, scheduled, and loaded, so I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about, oh, is that email, is the email ready? Is it going to go out? And then all I have to look at is, who clicked on it and who opened it, and who registered.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just thinking back how we kind of broke down the content, because yes, you need all of those things, but we kind of chunked it up a little bit so that we could, we got the sales page done.
Right.
You could share that with your personal
Right.
people. They could actually register, and we
Right.
had the confirmation email.
Right.
And then and I think you had that for a couple weeks, and then we got the emails done, and then we started running the promotion.
Mhm.
So it allowed you to start as quickly as possible getting people
Right.
registered, so that we could build out that content. And then so later, then we built out the reminders into the masterclass that included your downloadable.
Right.
Um, and then the follow-up was what we improved the second time, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And all of it, and when I run it again, now it may not be, I'm planning to run another masterclass later in the year. It's not going to be the same. Some of it's going to be the same, but we're going to make changes. So again, we'll have to make changes to the emails, and maybe a little bit to the landing page. But now at least the framework is
Yes.
there, and so it's much easier to do it, to get ready and to go through the process.
Yes. Well, I should ask you, what was the name of the master class, and what was the main out purpose of somebody, attending the master class?
So my goals for the masterclass were, one, as I said before, to expand my visibility. Secondly, was to grow my email list, and then 3, to get people into a discovery call. Now, so that was my objectives. And I have to be honest, the very first one was just getting everything done. It's like
Right.
getting everything done, doing the master class, and whether nobody showed up, that was okay, because it was just going through that whole process. So the name of the master class was How to Increase the 3 R's: Retention, Referrals, and Revenue in 2023. And what the masterclass focuses on is building relationships with your existing customers, and why companies should focus on building those relationships versus constantly looking to acquire new customers. And so I talk about why it's important to build those relationships, and then how to build a strategy that will keep you top of mind, connected, show your customers how much you value them, and show them that you appreciate their business.
Yeah. I love that. Well, and, I think, your first time that you ran it, as you said, the goal was just to get it all done. I think just having gone through that and putting it out there that you do speaking, you got a couple other speaking gigs as
I did.
well.
Yes, I did. So as I was telling people that I was going to, I was going to do this master class, and then people asked me, "Whoa, what's it about?" And then the question came, would you be interested in speaking to my group? So in that very short period of time, I ended up with 3 speaking
Wow.
engagements. 2 were virtual and 1 was in person. I also then was a guest on another podcast. So those were not parts of my goal, so to speak. As I said before, my goal was to increase my visibility, but those helped in terms of my overall goal in terms of increasing visibility.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, and as far as a timeline, because this is where I feel a lot of people, a lot of my clients will come to me wanting to do a master class, and they're like, I want to host it next week.
No.
Uh, and I have to tell you, what I have noticed is if you're not giving yourself enough time to promote, you're kind of like you're shooting yourself in the foot, for
Absolutely.
sure. And I think we gave you about what, 3 or 4 weeks?
The first time we did, I'd say like 3.5 weeks, again, because I was, didn't get everything done as quickly as I did. So it was about 3.5 weeks.
Mhm.
And then the second time we extended it to about 5 weeks. And I think 5 weeks is kind of the furthest out that you can really go, because then people start, they forget, and I don't think I got as good of response the second time as I did the first time. So I would say probably 3 to 4 weeks is the max.
Okay.
But you need to do that, because people you cannot just tell people something once. So just sending one email, people, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, people say, okay, yeah, no, I'll get to that. They forget about it, or they don't look at the first email that you send out. So if it's the only one that you're sending out, you're not, people aren't,
Right.
opening it, they're not looking at it. So having a consistent sequence of emails, I think, is extremely important. And then the other thing that is also really important, which sounds like a pain in the neck, but is also sending out personal emails to people on your list. I think that also helped in terms of registrations.
Yes. Well, and we actually have a comment from someone watching, Deborah Richardson, so I'll show her comment. So her comment was in relationship to launching a, event in a very short period of time, and she was able to change the date, so she could plan and promote. And, I think she says she only had 3 weeks to promote. She gave herself more time. So congratulations, Deborah. That's a great,
Absolutely. And
um
and the thing is, yeah, congratulations. And the thing is, don't feel bad about
mhm.
doing it, because in the end, you will get a much better result, and you will feel more comfortable. Because if you're stressed out about trying to do everything in a very short period of time, it's going to show in your end product.
Yes, I agree. And really, from a promotion timeline perspective, like, we were promoting for that first one, like, 3.5 weeks, but I think we had about 6 weeks runway. We had this was a short, very fast turnaround, to begin with, but it worked out. We had a couple weeks where we were getting the sales
Yeah.
page
Yeah. 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 Yes.
content written, and then the emails. So,
Yes.
yeah,
You're
your
absolutely right.
timeline has to include the prep as well. And
Absolutely.
Debbie didn't really do that much social media posting at all for that
No,
first round.
right, I did not, and so that's something that in the next round, because now that I have the basics all set up, because like I said before, it's just overwhelming, and everything that you need to do, and in my case, sometimes overwhelmed just says, I throw up my hands and say I can't do it, and that's so as I said before, the goal of the first one was just to promote and complete everything, including giving the masterclass. But yes, you need to put a couple weeks in there for being able to develop the emails and the other content. And yes, so we had, before we started promoting, we had at least 2.5 weeks, and that I think was a bit. I mean, that was for the copywriter, that was a bit short. I mean, she was really
Yeah, she was working.
Yes.
But that's also why you pay someone to help you. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about your outcomes from, or the results of your masterclass, because I was really impressed with how many people you had registered for that first one as well as the second one.
Right. So for the first one, I had 18 people register, which was far more than I had anticipated. And I had 13 people attend
Which is great.
the masterclass, right? Which I just was, as I said, over the moon. And that led to signing 2 clients.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
realize that.
yeah, so I signed 2 clients. So that was beginner's luck.
I don't think so. I'm not letting you get off on that too easily. I want to point out some of the things I noticed that Debbie really did very well. Because she did the promotion emails, which is great, but what Debbie did that was different is and this is something that she had because of the CRM, is that we had set up these trigger links so that we could see who was clicking on the page to
Yeah.
register from the email. So she would personally reach out to these people.
Yes.
And just nudge them, because as we're saying, people are busy and they got the email, they were interested, they clicked the link, they probably something else popped up and they didn't go through the process of registering.
Right.
Yeah. So how did you go about your follow-up with people, like after they clicked it? Did you say, hey, you clicked the link, or were you much more subtle about it?
Well, remember we did looked at 3 different tags that were happening.
Yeah.
So all the people who opened the email but didn't move past that, we sent an automated, from the CRM, we sent an automated email just saying something like, hey, we see that you opened the email. Is there, just want to remind you, there's, X amount of time, blah, blah, blah. And then the people who opened it and then clicked on the registration and didn't register, then that's who I did personal emails to. And I did say, I noticed that you clicked on the registration link but didn't register. Are there, I don't remember exactly what we said, but I just want to remind you that we still have a week out. And all the way, because we sent the last email 2 days before the class. So, excuse me, even after that is, I also sent emails to people saying, I noticed that you clicked. So we did that. And then afterwards, all the people who registered but didn't attend, we gave them the link to the Zoom call, we recorded
The recording.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, the recording, and gave them the opportunity to go back and look at that. So we did that for people. And then I followed up with each person, both who attended and didn't attend, asking if they have any questions, and, again, giving them the option to have a call to discuss, parts of the masterclass with me. Then the people who afterwards, then the last thing that we did was we sent an email, again, automated, to all the people who clicked, who opened, and said, what was the reason? We saw that you were interested, but, answer, reply with, one of these answers. And we was, that the time didn't work for me, or I completely forgot, or I didn't think that this was going to, solve an issue. And then I went back, and surprisingly, the number of people that responded back to that, and then I went back and emailed and, did an email exchange with those people. So I did do a lot of follow-up. And I think and that was one of the reasons to do the masterclass, is to find people that were or are interested in, what you do.
Yes. Well, and I think I know for myself, because I do tech stuff. I really don't like talking to people, I think. Unless I really know them very well.
I'm doing a live here.
I'm doing a live. But I do feel uncomfortable reaching out personally. I feel like, if they're not taking action, I shouldn't bother them. And I know that a lot of my clients feel the same way. But what I have seen, you are one of those people. There are a couple other clients that do the same thing, where they just do more personal outreach. They leverage the automations to give them insights into who is demonstrating additional interest, that maybe, a personal outreach is worth doing. And I can see it from those clients that do it. I could see the immense difference it makes with their outcomes, like with your masterclass.
Well, I will say this, that this is a long time struggle with myself. So from my days as a Girl Scout, selling is not in my comfort zone at all. And as a Girl Scout, I hated Girl Scout cookie time, because that meant I had to go and knock on people's doors and ask them to buy. And I cannot tell you how many times I stood at the end of the walkway and said to myself, oh, this person's not interested, so I'm not going to walk.
Yes, I think I did the same thing.
And I continued that. And over the years, since I've, started VirtuArte, I've had events. And I can't tell you how many times I would get ready to send an email to somebody to invite them or to tell them. And then I'd go, oh, this person's really not going to be interested. So I have had to stop myself from making decisions for other people. And so that is one of the reasons why I have more consistently, I won't say consistently, but more consistently done personal emails and outreach. And I know that it's through that too that I get responses.
Yeah. Well, I have started doing it too, since I noticed that from just, doing analysis of my clients, like what's working, what's not, because I generally work with coaches and consultants. And so they're doing similar things like masterclasses, masterminds, events, virtual summits, all those sorts of things. And I can see the tactics people are using that are having more success. And that is definitely one of them. So, did you share the outcomes from your second event?
So no, I did not. So the second event, and this goes back to my mindset, and you're
being very open. Yes,
I am.
I appreciate it.
So because I had a longer period of time, I was like, oh, I have 5 weeks. I did not do as much of the personal outreach as I had done the first time. And it showed. So I ended up with 11, I believe it was 11 registrations, and I had 5 people attend. Which again, I'm happy that, because I guess the average is that 50% of the people show up. And so I've had that, but it definitely showed me that's why I'm saying that 5 weeks may have been a little too long. that I would, in the next one that I do in the fall, I'm only going to do probably four weeks
Mhm.
at max, and definitely back to really personal, sending personal emails to people and following up, because
Yeah, that's
those are definitely the two things.
yeah, and you gotta know yourself. Like, you're kind of like, "Oh, I'm giving myself a little break. I have more time to get registrations,
Right.
done."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's exactly. And so the next one's not going to give me that
Mhm.
supposedly luxury, because I took advantage of it, and it showed in the results.
Mhm. And did you have any, discovery calls from the second one?
Yes, so I've had two discovery calls, and so I'm nurturing
That's
those
still
two
pretty
prospects.
good. I know it wasn't as
No, no, no. Again, this is all for me a learning process. I'm just, patting myself on the back that I've done it,
Yeah.
because I know, from my previous, where, my MO, where I go, oh yeah, no, I'm going to do this, and then I just don't do it. So as I said, patting myself on the back that I've done it twice, and that I've already, put it out there, October 12th. Anybody who's interested, I will be doing another masterclass.
Yes. So, I think the main takeaways from the discussion with Debbie is, if you're doing a master class, give yourself a runway, probably 6 weeks to complete the sales page and promotion emails,
Yes.
and then at minimum 3 weeks promotion leading up
Right.
to, the master class. And just for reference, you have about 800 to 1,000 people on your mailing list.
Good people. I have a
Yeah.
big mailing list, but good people.
Yeah. So, yeah. And she sent, I think it was 1 email a week, so it wasn't like
Yes.
you were bombarding, people throughout that whole time.
Right.
Um, and and then Debbie does do a lot of networking, so she gets new people in all the time into her funnel. So,
Right.
but give yourself time, because if you don't give yourself the time, you're not gonna have the results that you would hope for, and your excellent experience will not be shared with the world, so
Right. That's really that. If there's one takeaway, is you have to do more than just one email to promote your whatever your event, whether it's a masterclass or an in-person event. Because as I said before, what statistics shows and studies shows is people need more, they need to be reminded 2, 3, 4 times before they'll take action. And a lot of people wait until the very last moment. So that's one of the reasons why when we scheduled my emails, that we decided that we would do one 2 days
2 days
before.
before, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's true. All events, I think anyone that runs events regularly knows that that final, like if you're charging for it, if you have those early bird price, general admission, those are also triggers for
Mhm.
people to take action, so
Right.
so what would you say are your CRM success secrets, Debbie?
Okay, so I've been a client of Mary Sue's for a number of years. Mary Sue has known me, and I procrastinate, and so it took me a long time to even start using a CRM. But what I will say that I have found, and this was the same, same with regard to the masterclass, is that once I started using the CRM, once it helped me to automate tasks that before I was doing one at a time, I immediately always said to Mary Sue, why did it take me so long? Why did I wait so long? So, for example, as we were just talking about with regard to the masterclass, so all of that is now set up, and we will have to make changes to it, yes, but the basic structure is all set up. So there's no, I know we know exactly when when I'm going to do it, and then we've planned out back to when we start promoting. So that is fantastic. Another thing that the CRM has helped me with is setting up appointments or setting up meetings. I resisted using the calendar
I
link.
remember.
Yes. I resisted using the calendar link. And now I can't live without it because it's so much easier to send somebody the link and have them go on it and find a time. And it's now common practice. I mean, everybody is using it. But I used to say, oh no, I want it to be personal. And so I would spend countless emails sending one saying, well, how about Monday at 3 or Tuesday at 4? And then they would come back, no, those don't work for me. How about Thursday at 2? And I go, no, that doesn't. So it would take 4 or 5 emails. Now just send the one, they're expecting the link, and they set up they find a time and they confirm it, and it's done. And
Yes. I call
so,
that scheduling spaghetti. Like, throwing spaghetti on the wall when you're trying to schedule before you had a link.
well, and then the last thing is the CRM itself. So I am a proponent of getting to know your customers and putting that information as you get to know them in the CRM. So it's putting in there, if you find out that they drink coffee, putting in there that they drink coffee. If you find out that they're a fan of the Washington Nationals, you put that in there and you put in parentheses, love baseball. Any piece of information, because when you are building your relationship and you're building a strategy on how to build that relationship, that information becomes crucial, because everything that you want to do, you want it to be meaningful to your customer. And the only way to do meaningful things is A, to get to know them, and B, have that information when you need it. So the CRM itself has been crucial for me in my business and for my clients.
Yes. Well, and I have added for my networking and my clients, I've added for myself fields to take notes in about people. I am certainly not as good as you are at it, but I've made huge improvements.
Well, I have made huge improvements in things that you do
Yep.
automatically, and now you're saying you've made
Yes.
improvements in things that I talk about. So great.
Yes, I love it. I mean, I love my role because I can see across all these different great companies and see how they're using the technology, but I also glean great
Right.
insights. And we are clients of one another. So well, thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing your sorry, coughing spasm. Here, I'll pull her off for a second. Um, so CRM Success Secrets is an opportunity to have real people share how they use their CRM in their business, share what they were trying to accomplish in their business, and then how they use technology to make it happen. And because, I am more of an expert on technology, and so when I say it's possible, some people kind of question that. They're like, well, but you love it and I am not good at it. But I can share, with bringing on people that use a CRM where they're not the most techie person, but they still make it work for themselves. That's what I hope that you get out of these podcast episodes. So, Debbie, are you back?
Got that.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry. That's what happens when you go live.
And then take a drink of something, it goes down the wrong hole.
Right. I'm sure you will not have another podcast guest who will spit.
You never know. This is why it's live.
I apologize, but thank
That's
you
right.
so much, Mary Sue.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching. We will have another who is next week? I'm pretty sure it is Angela Duns will be joining us. So thank you very much.